deep fried baby back ribs. We're going to deep fry some ribs today. We're doing one is chicken fried ribs, I'll call them, and the other one is just straight up ribs, straight in the deep fry, and we're going to sauce them afterward with a nice chicken and rib sauce, store bought. It's absolutely delicious. When you get your baby backs, I mean, you'll get some thin ones. Some are thin, some are thick like this. The thicker ones are the ones we're going to batter. They work a lot better, give the batter a bit of time to crisp up and cook. And then it also gives the rib a bit of time to cook. The ones with the thin ones are way better just straight up. So I use a piece of paper towel to grab that membrane. We'll get that off. And we'll cut these ribs into mini pork chops. Give them a chop, and you can see the difference. So there's one. We're going to use that for chicken fried, and we're going to use this one here. It's going to be our dry fry. So for this, we're going to use a dredge. We're going to use a chicken coating. So we'll get those ribs in. And, just use your favorite copycat chicken coating. There's lots of them online. Just search for them. This one, where I live, I can buy chicken coating right at the store. It's a seasoned chicken coating, so we'll get that in. And for these chicken fried ones, we want this to sit. You can see, shake all that dredge off. This is a great unit. Shake all that dredge off, and I'll just show you. And what we want to do is we want to let that moisture absorb some of that coating. We'll let that sit for about an hour. We'll get the deep fryer going. We'll recoat them just before we fry them, and we'll get them in the deep fryer. Deep fryer's up and running now. We'll go ahead and just get these naked ribs right in here, get them starting to cook. There's nothing on these. All I've done is dried them off, got the moisture off of them, and removed that membrane. So this dredging station, you can see the coating's in the bottom. There's holes in here. You can see now the ribs have absorbed a bunch of that coating, and we're going to give it another hit now with some coating and double dredge it. So we just flip this over. So now it's really easy to overcook these ribs. So you want to pay attention to them. You want the ribs to be just buoyant. You want them to feel like they're not resting on the bottom. They're just sort of bouncing back down to the bottom very slow, and you'll know they're done. See now, we'll just have another look, and you can see they've taken on another layer of coating. So these are ready to go right in that deep fryer as soon as those ones in the fryer are done now. And so what I have, keg chicken and rib spice. It's absolutely delicious, and it works really well on these naked ribs. And listen, treat these ribs the same as you would any old chicken wings. Just, you can put any spice, any dry spice, any wet sauce on them. You can have dipping sauces for them. I mean, you'll see the rib will be in the oil. It'll be kind of at an angle like this. One end will be a little lighter than the other end, and just sort of bobbing around in there. Ribs are just bobbing around. You know they're done. Best thing to do, just keep experimenting. Listen, you take them out, they're not cooked enough, put them right back in. Don't worry about it too much. This is all cooking for yourself. This is to have a bit of fun out with some friends, cooking a bit of food. You just see them here starting to bob right there. I don't know. You can see that one. This one right here, just starting to bob around. Just tell they're loose. They're very, very light on the bottom. We're going to take those out now, and we're going to drain those off. And we're going to go ahead and sauce them. So we'll just drain some of that oil out. Get those in that bowl. Oh, they look good. They look delicious. Right in that bowl, we'll let that heat come back up before we put those chicken fried ribs in. And then we'll sauce these, and we're going to let them sit. There you go. Beautifully sauced ribs. We'll let those cool down before we try and eat any of them. And normally what I do is I just sit and do a whole bunch of rounds of these. I'll do naked ribs, then I'll do a bunch of chicken fried ribs, and just keep going. Keep cycling through until everybody's had enough. We're right back up to 375. We'll go ahead and get these beautiful chicken fried ribs, and you can just see the thickness of them. They're huge. They're baby pork chops. Set those in nice and gentle, nice and easy. We'll let that coating set up before we touch them. Watch that heat above 350, below 375, somewhere in there. One of the things you want to watch when you're deep frying with this type of setup is those big swings in temperature. You throw a whole bunch of stuff in, she's going to crash. So then you crank up the fire to try and get it to come back up to temperature. But you got to remember, it's going to shoot right by if you're not careful. So just make sure you pay attention and watch the thermometer, watch the flame. So here we're going to make sure these aren't sticking. All right, I think these are ready for a sample. I just take one out here. I don't know if you can see. It's steaming, it's smoking. It looks absolutely delicious. We'll get into it. Oh man, how tasty is that? Crunch from deep frying, that wonderful sauce. Right off the bone, delicious. These ribs are a real crowd pleaser. Here we can see those ribs are just browning up nicely, starting to look wonderful. They are starting to float now. They won't be much longer. We'll give those another minute, then we're going to take them out and spice them up with this Black Eddie's seasoning salt. All right, those are finished. Get those out. Get those out to cool off. They are going to be hot. We'll get that seasoning on them. Give them a flip. Give them a flip. They're warm. Give them another little bit of seasoning on. Let that oil help hold it together. We're going to let those sit and let them cool off now before we dig in. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut one of these open. I want to see if you can see how juicy they are. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Delicious, delicious, delicious. 3 or 4 minutes, they should be cooled down. I mean, look at this. How does that not look? Absolutely delicious. Chicken fried, baby back ribs. Winner, winner. Oh. I hope you can see how juicy that rib is. Tender, absolutely delicious, cooked absolutely perfect. I wouldn't want it any other way. Follow along to stay up to date and ring that notification bell. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it. Thanks for watching.